Peter, the blueberries don't seem to be quite as plentiful.
No, it's a bad year. We had a lot of rain.
Peter,
Good.
do you want to comment? Nice to see you.
Isn't that neat? That's like witch's broom in a blueberry bush. And the forester that saw it was absolutely fascinated by it. He'd never seen one like that. So yeah, it's a really unique thing. Most of these trees up through here have been struck by lightning. We will lose them. The two pines, one here, you can see it split up the side, the next one split up the inside. They've all been struck by lightning. They will probably all die at some point, and they'll not have any timber value.
It's not illness.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yes. Yes. It's like a cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like mistletoe in
Sucking the life out of the tree.
And it
Is it a parasite or is it?
I don't know. I haven't had anybody. No one knows exactly. I've had the good fortune to have a kid from the college working for the Conservation Commission as an intern, and about a day a week I've been hiring him to work on the farm or to work for me. So for, let's see, $10 an hour, and it took him about 4 hours, so for about $40 he weed whacked all of this yesterday.
No, that's
None on this part of the farm. Get over the next wall and there's some. No along here. Okay, you can see a bit here. There's an area off to the left of the blueberry patch out here that I mow with a tractor. I'm able to mow with a tractor. We didn't actually stump it, but we cut the stumps off low so I can drive around. This little opening I made here at the same time when we had our last timber harvest, and for the purpose of allowing sunlight to get to the blueberries. So we've cleared out around the blueberries. We can maintain around them. I can get into portions of it now with the tractor. Eventually I'll have it so I can mow most of the blueberries with the tractor at some point. But what I'm doing is grinding up the old blueberry bushes and then encouraging newer ones to grow. So but that's why that little patch is there, to allow light to get into the blueberries.
The new ones will grow from the old?
No, there'll just be new bushes right next to her that come up.
Roots go out?
Yeah. And this is, the blueberries are very labor intensive. They take a lot of time and energy to maintain, but that's why out here, when these Christmas trees are gone, I'm going to simply mow the field in a 10-foot grid, 10 by 10, and then allow a patch to grow up. Eventually, wild blueberries will grow up in each of those patches.
And from the air, it will look very cool.
Right. When we were kids, there were still barbed wire fences all along these walls, and they would open and close gates to let cattle get into different pastures.
Right.
Now the spring that fed the farm is down through there, back of that field. It actually needs a new cover built for it. Huh?
This used to always be wet.
Yeah, well, it is a lot of the time. It is still. In the spring, this is just sheet flow of water down through.
It was running down here yesterday, look, or the day before. Look at this.
What's that?
The water. Signs of the water tearing down this hill.
Oh, sure.
This is more open than it used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
there was some labor involved.
I know, it was more open before we started trying to open it up again.
This is an example of an unmanaged pine forest, a pine stand. If you read the forest management plan, it'll talk about this area here and this area over here. Both of these are areas that have not been thinned. Nature's way is to start as many trees as it can possibly start, and then over time, what happens is certain ones win out over others, and trees die back, and eventually you end up with a growth of good big trees, but the process can take 100 or 150 years. If you go through and you thin, and in this case, probably remove half of the trees, but in an orderly way, the half you remain with will grow twice as fast, so that you'll actually produce a crop a lot sooner. One of the recommendations in the forest management plan is to do thinning here. One of the problems we've faced is that there's no money in bringing somebody in, and there's no money in paying somebody to thin it. So we have to kind of tie that project with something else that happens along the way, like a harvest. And you'll see up here that I interested a group to come in because they were working across the road. They only had to move just over the, from one side of the street to the other to move in and do a thinning. They cleared all of this at the same time, and they selectively cut the top of the hill out here and improved that pine stand. And you'll see the difference. Notice in here you have pretty much an even-aged growth of pine. All there's some variety in the age, but not a lot.
There's a very
not a
strange
lot
blue
growing
tree in
underneath.
there.
You see how dense they all are, how densely they're all growing in there. Well, when we get up top, we'll take a look at what happens when you start to let the light in.
This was all clear in the 50s.
Yeah, this was.
That's right. This was field. This was field in the 50s.
It was the Hughes lot.
That's right.
In 60 years.
Before that, it
No.
was the horseback
she's
riding
fine.
lot.
Important things to check first.
Well, I'm gonna go in and do clearing.
Maybe she'd be in the way. In Boston, there was a front page headline that the first cardinal in Boston in the 20s, his